Hello everyone, welcome to the 14th video on Google Sheets. So, in this video, I'll be discussing Superstore dataset which is available on Kaggle. I will share the link of this dataset in the video description, and we do have the metadata information as well available for this particular dataset here. Now, I have loaded this dataset in Google Sheets, and in the introductory video I've shown that using this data set we can have a tabular reports, and we can also add charts on top of reports, so we can do that. So we will be creating that in this video. So just let us quickly go through the data set which is added here. Now here some of the important columns that we can quickly go through are order id, order date, ship date, then customer id, some customer related information we have, and then which category and subcategory the product belong to, sales, quantity, discount, total profit. If you observe these two dates closely, you can see that the first one looks like month, the second part looks like date, and the third is year for order date, and similarly it is for ship date. But in this format, you may have to check if your Google Sheets consider it as date or not. So how can we do that? So if this would be a date, if I double click here, there would be a window like this where I can select different dates. So it is considering it as 11th of August 2016. But if you look at this data set here, the column closely, the second one is actually day. So it should have been 8th of November 2016. Okay, if I double click, it is 11th of August 2016. So it means it is not in a proper format. So order date is not in a proper format, ship date is also not in a proper format. And we can again quickly check it by clicking here, which is 827, because it was considering first to be day, second to be month. Now the month cannot be 27, so it's considering it as a text field only. So for that, I have to change this from that format to this format where we have the day first, the month, and then we have the year. Okay, and how do we do that? So I'll quickly go through that as well. So let's look at the formulas that has been entered here in these four columns. So in one of the videos where I have talked about some text function, I have discussed split. So to bring that into a proper format, I will first split this column into three parts using slash as the separator. Okay, so I'll the first part, the second part, and the third part. Now we'll be using the date function in Google Sheet. So what date function does, it will create a date using three values. The first should be the year, the second should be the month, and the third should be the day. So here the year would be the third value when we split. So that's why here we are using index function to pick the third value. So split combined with index 3 will give me year here. Okay, so this one would be, if you see, this is 2016. The first I'm getting year, which is 2016. Then when I'm selecting this, you'll see I'm getting the month because it is November. So the month should be the second argument of date, and I'm getting it by splitting this column and picking the first value. And the day is the second part. So if I select here, it is 8. So using this combination, I am able to get this date. Similarly, I have done this for ship date. So order date and ship date are now kind of clean and transformed in this way, so that we can easily calculate days to ship here, which is just the difference between these two days. And this order month, again, for some charts, you may just want to aggregate the results on year month and you want to see the trend. So for that, I preferably create a year month kind of field as well whenever we have some date data. So it is created here using the formula text. So first of all, using text, I have created year, and then I have created month, and then I have appended it using this particular sign. So this way, we all these four columns are added here. Okay. Now let's go to the report. So this is the report that we'll be creating right now, and here we have the option to select different states, and based on these selections, the numbers here will change. Okay. So yeah, it's still calculating, so numbers will change. Yeah. Okay, so now it has changed. And also, if you select different dates, the numbers will change like that. So how to create this? So to start with, I'll just add a sheet here. Okay, rename is as report table 2, and I need state filter at the top, and then from date to date. So just add this state, and then we have from date and to date. Okay. So how do we get this? How do we get a drop down here? So for that, what we will do, we'll right click the field, go to view more cell actions, data validation, click on data validation, and then you can add a rule here. So I want a drop down. So here I can add the options if there are a few. For example, 4 5 options are there. I can select different colors for them. But because there are many, I don't want to do that. It will take another, say, 15 minutes to do that. So I can select drop down from a range. And then there are many other options as well. So if text contains, does not contain, like that, even for dates as well. Okay. So I'll select drop down from a range, and then it will ask me what range. So here, after clicking here, I'll go to data, and I will select this state, which is this column I. So data I. Click OK, and now it creates all these fields. If you want to change color for a few, you can do that. For example, for California, maybe if I want to change it to like some color like this, we can do that. If it is overall, so if it is state, we'll consider it to be overall. Then maybe for Washington, we can change it like this. We can just change a few color. For New York, maybe like this. So this way we can change the colors of the drop down as well. And done. So in this table, now I have this drop down, and I have different values here. So if I select state, it is showing state. I can similarly select something else as well. Now I'll just put some dates here. So maybe I can just copy the dates from here. It's not formulated. So just copy the dates here and add it here. Now, what next? I have to add this category and subcategory. Okay. So, for that, again, I can add those values by manually, just by looking at the values and adding it here. Or the other way would be to do unique, whatever unique combination is are there from the data, and select these two categories, these two columns, which are one close to another, they are adjacent. So for these two columns, if I select both and do unique, it will give me all the unique combinations. Okay. Now, what all values do I want? So I want total sales, total quantity, total profit, and average shipping time. Just copy these names and I'll add it here. So these are the values that I want. I have also talked about name ranges earlier. So I will quickly show what are the name ranges I have added here. So if I click on category, so this is the category column. This is the date column, which is actually the order date. Then discount, order month, profit, quantity, sales, ship date, shipping days, state, subcategory, and superstore data, which is the full data set. So there is a name range for the full data set as well. Okay, so those of you who are not very much familiar with that, how can we do that? I just quickly show an example as well. Name ranges. So here, for example, if I have to make change to this, so this date should be like order date. So just rename it to order date. And similarly, we can create these name ranges as well. And here I can select a range by clicking here. Okay. So this is how we can edit. And if I have to add a name range, so what I can do is that maybe I'll click here. So name range would be say postal code, and the data would be this column. So you see postal code J is selected now. Okay. Now this name range is created. So if, whenever I select postal code, it will just move me to that particular column, which I have renamed it as postal code, or which I have named it as postal code. Okay. So now with this, I can create a formula here. So do we see any challenge here? So this is giving me all the combination, and it will not change based on the state selected. Okay, so let's write a formula first. So in that case, actually, for many of these states, if a particular category subcategory are not sold there, then it will show us blanks initially. But yeah, we'll figure out a way to actually overcome that. But let's see if I add a formula here. So total sale is sum of sale. So I'll start with sum, and I'll use the same logic. So sum if error, which I have discussed earlier, and filter. So it all starts with filter, then if error, and then if you want a sum, you do sum, or count a, whatever you like. So I want to sum sales. So if I write sales, yeah, I'm getting that column here. It's already named. And then I want to sum for the selected state. So how do I filter that? So for that, I would write this expression. I can directly write state equal to V1, but I also want to add a condition. If B1 contains state, then it should give me the total sum. So that is why what I'll do is that if B1, okay, and I'll freeze that, is equal to state, then the column state should not be equal to blank. Okay, so consider all the columns. Otherwise, the column state will be equal to B1. So this is the way I'm adding this condition here. So it will filter the sales data for a particular state if in B1 we have anything other than state. Otherwise, it will just look for non-blank states and give me the entire result. Okay, and also date. So we have this order date. I've renamed it to order date. So order date should be greater than equal to from date, and order date should be less than equal to. And I'm freezing these cells because I'll be dragging the formula down, and so it should not refer to incorrect cells. And if I enter, I'm getting this value. Here, what I'm getting values for a particular state. Now I'm getting values for all these states. If I select California, you see I'm getting values for California only. But now we do have to filter them for these categories and subcategories as well. So I'll add that as well. So category is equal to this. I'm just freezing a column because rows will change when I drag down the formula. And subcategory is equal to this. Okay. So now it will give me the sales for these particular categories and subcategories. Now you see for California we have numbers for all. Maybe for Illinois, if I see, yeah, we still have numbers for all. Let's look for some other state. Yeah, here you see for Idaho, there are many categories and subcategories which are blank. So if you want to remove those based on selection, you can also do that, but for that you'll have to actually add a filter condition here. Okay, so how do we do that? So for that, this cell, before doing unique, will filter this data L2M. Okay, again based on that condition, based on state selection. So if B1 is equal to state, state column should not be blank. Otherwise, P1 should be equal to, or state should be equal to B1. State should be equal to B1. It's again based on selected state, it will give me the unique combination of L and M. We can also put a condition based on date as well. So many a times it can happen that those particular items were not sold in that period. So in that case, it will just remove that as well from these unique combinations. So order date should be greater than this, and order date should be less than equal to this. Now you see. So what happens is that because only these three items were present, based on these selection, I'm just getting three rows here. Rest all of them are blanks or zero. Rest all of them are zeros here. But if you observe this closely, you'll notice that the labels have moved one row up because of this change in the formula here. So I'll just cut this and paste one row below, and then I'll replace the top row, which is row 6, with these labels. Okay, this formatting, I'll just keep it same. I'll just okay, so just refresh the values here, so it has this value here as well for furniture and table category. Now similarly, I can add formulas in these three columns as well. But yeah, let's look at the overall numbers for state. So yeah, we have these numbers here. Now I'll quickly add formulas to total quantity. So just drag this cell right. So here we'll have the same number, but I'll just change this from sales to quantity. It's already named. So here you can see the benefit of name ranges. And then I'll select these cells and do Control D. Similarly, for total profit, I'll just drag it here and change it to profit. So, and then I will calculate average shipping time. Again, I'll just drag the formula here. But even if I change it to shipping time, it won't be average. So for that, I'll have to change this function here as well, from sum to average. If I do this, numbers change like this. Now the decimals up to which you want to keep, you can do the formatting. So maybe you don't want it up to two decimals, so I'll just remove them. Here also I don't want. But yeah, if you want to add currency here, you can do that. Format. Okay, this dollar symbol is selected here. Then I am again decreasing the decimals. And this formatting I can just copy it from here and then apply it to all the cells. Now I can make it a bit better. I'll select everything. Then I'll click on this table with all borders. I can change the colors here as well. Sometime we do like this, and then the text would be light color white. So this way also we can actually change the table. You can add conditional formatting to this total sales. Conditional formatting, I can add a color scale. So the, I can change the color scale as well. So opposite to this. So minimum is white and the maximum is green. So you see, and if I do done, it applies here. So that we can easily identify which are the highest values. Now I can do it for this. I'll go to fill color, click on conditional formatting again, color scale, and from here actually I can select the lower ones to be. So actually I can, so these are few default options. So the minimum value would be maybe red, the midpoint would be green, light green, and these this would be dark green or maybe a lighter shade. This. So here we can easily observe which are the high values, which are the low values, and which are the minimum ones, which sometime may be negative. So it's better to actually format them as red. So this way we can create a nice table. So in the next video, we'll see how we can create another table which was there on the right, and also how we can create some charts on top of this table. But yeah, before on doing that, we can just quickly, I can quickly show you that based on these selections, how the numbers are changing here. So for some regions, so most of these products are available on a few in a few regions, but yeah, wherever it is not present, the table will change like this. So maybe a few of these below rows will not be available for those states. Okay. And here, when we are seeing this division error, actually, what we can do is that we can add a if error on top of this formula, that disappears. Okay. So thank you everyone for watching this video. In the next video, I'll see you again. And if you find this video to be useful, please like the video, subscribe my channel, and share it among your friends.